So that was your initial door.
That was the initial door. So I went to China thinking that I was there to minister to and reach out to these college students. And while I was there, I got a phone call in my apartment one night, and I picked it up, and this lady with a New Zealand accent said, "Are you John Bentley, the American lawyer?" And I said, "Well, sort of." And she said, "Well, my name is Sandra King, and I'm working with orphans in China, and I'm just a mom. I have no education, and I need to submit these documents to the government to get them approved to open a children's home, and I don't know how to do it. So I told God, you're going to have to send a Christian lawyer here to help me." And she said the Lord answered her and said, "I already have. He's in the city right now." And she told me, "I just want you to know that God sent you here to help me."
Oh my goodness. So how were you feeling at that moment as far as that contentment, that peace, even though you still didn't know what the full picture was? Did you feel that peace?
You know, it's funny because I grew up in a fundamentalist church background, and I thought to myself, who is this crazy charismatic woman? You know, I didn't believe it at all. And I told her, "Ma'am, listen," I said...
Better look out for those crazy charismatic women.
Yeah, exactly. And so I said, "Listen, first of all, I'm not a lawyer yet. And second of all, even if I was a lawyer, we just didn't have a class at Regent University on how to deal with Chinese communists." But she persisted. She said, "I know God sent you here to help me." And so when I agreed to meet with her, I realized I was in the presence of an unsung hero of the faith.
Amazing.
And I just said, "You know what, I'm going to help you in any way I can." I drafted the documents for her. She had them translated into Mandarin, and she got the approval that she needed.
And she got the approval, and God used someone who didn't even pass the bar exam yet.
And then, after I helped her, on Christmas Eve at midnight, the phone rang in my apartment, and I picked it up, and I said, "You know, who is this calling me at this time of night?" And it was Lisa, and she said, "Is this John Bentley, Esquire?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "We just got a letter from the Bar Association. You did pass the bar exam."
Oh, I love it. I love it. Wow. So at that point, I would imagine that the seed of China is planted in your heart.
It was very much planted in my heart.
Starting to plant.
Yes, and then a strange thing happened. I got hired by this very good firm in Washington State, went back to Washington, and completely lost track of China. And my practice really took off, and I thought, well, I must have misheard the Lord. He didn't call me to China. He just sent me on this one-off deal. And then 4 years into my practice is when God orchestrated the events that would send us permanently to China.
Permanently. And so, can you tell us those quickly?
Well, we went in faith, you know, having no support in place whatsoever, not one family giving us $20 a month. And it was very difficult for me. I went to the Lord because even my Christian family and friends were saying, "John, this is a disaster. You're being irresponsible as a Christian husband. You have 4 children, and you have no support." And I got out to China, and well, I prayed to the Lord, and He took me to the passage where Jesus said, "If any man would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross. For whoever seeks to save his life will lose it, but he who loses his life for my sake will find it." And so we went to China in faith.
And then you were dramatically changed as a result of being there, I know. Well, I want you to stay with us because a burned baby is left to die in a field, and the lasting effects it will have on the Bentley home. We'll tell you about that after the break.
Coming up, an orphan left to die in a field near Harmony Outreach is found. Saved and adopted, this little boy becomes an inspiration to millions around the world. It's the story of Levi. Next. For the Bentleys, there was more to life than simply living for themselves. Their radical move to China was nothing short of miraculous. And so Harmony Outreach was born. The mission? To connect the beautiful people of China with their Western brothers and sisters. Not only to provide necessary medical treatment and supplies, but to offer hope and help with the love of Christ. Their 3-step program to hope begins with foster care and sponsorship, corrective surgery for special needs, and finally, adoption and placement in a loving home. But their charity doesn't end there. Harmony Outreach is a resource for the people of inland China as well, and their remarkable work has captured the hearts of many.